sometimes you just gotta go bar down.
Kirill, top titty 2x4 to end the game. That was nice.
Bar down beauties.
That's the sexy part of the game, is it not? The plays and the goals and the...
Yeah, that's what you guys like. I mean, it is great.
And now, a new episode of Bar Down Beauties with Jesse Pierce and Kirsten Kroll. In need of custom merch, SotaStick has you covered. That's right. Whether it's jerseys, tees, hats, you can go to SotaStick.com with your need for custom merch and they can get it done. Hey, and while you're there, you might as well peruse, shop. They've got fleece, they've got hoodies, they've got mugs, they've got socks, and of course, your favorite tees and hats, all custom by SotaStick. They're our favorite here at Bar Down Beauties. They're the Minnesota Wild's favorite with their collabs. You've got P-Dub collabs, you've got Dinkytown collabs, basically anything you need or want here to represent your state, your sports, SotaStick has. Don't forget to smash Bar Down Beauties at checkout for 15% off all purchases at SotaStick.com. Hello, everybody. What's up, Bar Down Beauties? Another new episode coming in at you. I'm Jesse Pierce. She's Kirsten Kroll. We actually have things to talk about today, which is a rarity, which I do love. Kirsten, Marco Rossi signed. I did a reaction video immediately following the signing. 3 years, 5 million AAV, 15 million total. Structured, tiered, 4 million first year, 5 million the second year, 6 million the third. How do you feel about it?
I'm very excited. I'm very happy. I think it was the right move. I think the timing of it could have happened a little sooner, but as long as it's before training camp, that's all you really can ask for. So there's not going to be a holdout there, which is great news for everybody involved. And like Bill Guerin had said, he wants to prove himself. This is a good contract in order to do so. So I'm excited. I think, good deal.
I think it's good. I think it's a tradable contract as well, which nobody wants to talk about, but I will mention, I think it's a movable contract. Not that you want to, but he still has value, which I think is good. I think it's exactly the contract that we discussed should have been signed in June, because I don't think that, or July 1, when it was eligible, because this is what Bill Guerin wanted. This is where Bill Guerin had put him at. I did ask Marco Rossi specifically what was the difference maker, and here's what he had to say. Well, so how's summer? Now feel kind of good to get this put behind you and settled finally?
Yeah, feels good now. Obviously, it was a good summer. I could train a lot. But, in the back of the head, it's your contract is up and everything. And you always hear, the talks from your agent and everything. But I try to control what I can control. And that was, training and everything. But I feel good now and can't wait to go back to Mini and see the boys.
Yeah, Billy had said that you might be better suited to answer this question. What was the difference, or what made now the right time for the signature? What about the contract made you sign on the dotted line?
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of things, what I can't really say, but there were a couple of things I talked with my agents, and it was a good time now to sign. And I can't wait to see the guys now.
So he gave us a whole lot of nothing there, which is fine. I think the difference for him, I wonder, Kirsten, is if he realized he wasn't as desirable as he thought he might have been.
It's hard to say. I mean, I think point blank, all of the dramatics, because let's be honest, it was a lot of dramatics, a lot of rumors, a lot of unnecessary circumstances surrounding the entire situation. But I think having him gotten demoted in the playoffs, and then Bill Guerin kind of not so much talking about him the way that he did, but there was a lot of unknowns that I think did not help the conversation or make him marketable to other teams. I know there was interest, but especially too, when you wait this late in the game, options are very slim. Moves have already been made. It's the 11th hour as training camp approaches, and literally just over 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you think, I guess this begs then the next question, obviously it's a 3-year deal, but is Marco Rossi going to be the number one center then for the Minnesota Wild? Obviously removing Jules Eriksson, but is he part of the future of that core center, or do you think Bill Guerin's still going to keep an eye out? Because Guerin did say Rossi he does see as a top 6 forward, and obviously that would put him at number 2 behind Ecker there. In this contract, not necessarily screaming, yes, you're the future, but as Guerin said, it forces Marco to put his money where his mouth is, and it bets on himself, which I think is good. But what are your thoughts then on Marco's role moving forward?
I think this season, I think he's definitely a second line center still. I don't think they're going to move him. I think Joel Eriksson's going to remain your top line center. But I don't know. It's tough to say because it's hard for me to believe this organization believes in him. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like people are still convinced about everything surrounding him. I don't know. It's a very nuanced situation, and it's hard for me to say when I don't know the conversations, but I'm happy it's done. It doesn't make me feel good. It took as long as it did, and just kind of reading between the lines, it makes it sound like, yeah, well, he needs to prove himself, but I feel that's what he's been doing the last consistently 2 years. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I think Marco's a kid that comes in with a chip on his shoulder every year. I think he will always prove to others and prove to the doubters, as we've seen him emerge last year, right? I think it's there. I just still am curious to see what happens. I think, again, the contract is favorable to be trade eligible if necessary. But either way, you're moving forward with Marco Rossi on your roster for opening night. So that is good. The Athletic put out a story the other day. Michael Russo had chatted with Philip Gustafsson during the European tour. And it basically has suggested that extension talks have not begun yet with Gus. Gus is also eligible to be a free agent following the conclusion of this season. So, Kirsten, do you think that it's going to get to that point? Do you think that there will be an extension early on here for Philip Gustafsson?
I think probably earlier on. I think this is going to lead into what else you wanted to discuss, but there's too many question marks with Jesper Wallstedt right now. Way too many question marks. And so you need to have your consistent goalie, like, words are hard on this Monday morning as we record. Your first goalie number one, you need to have that locked in, settled. So I think that's a huge priority as they come into the year. And I think they want to get that done earlier. But yeah, just with Jesper, way too many question marks right now for me to feel confident about the goaltending situation if Gus isn't locked in.
Yeah, I mean, right now Gus is on a $3.75 million per the Athletic. Projections look at Gustafsson being at a $7 million per year player. I think the biggest concern for me, aside from Jesper possibly not being ready, right, is that Philip Gustafsson hasn't been proven reliable yet. There hasn't been a consistency. You saw that really down year. Then you saw last year be up. He needs to do that consistently. So he is going to be given that opportunity. He's a very 1A goalie. I don't even think it's a 1A, 1B situation. I think he is the number one goalie for the Minnesota Wild this year. No questions about it. Rightfully so. And he had a tremendous season, career high in wins. Obviously got a goalie goal, all the good things that we love to see. But I do wonder how that factors into those extension talks. I think Philip Gustafsson's happy here, but also I can see him being the player that wants to maybe explore his options if he doesn't like the way the contract comes down. I mean, I think he was, I believe from my perception, he was hurt heading into last year, the way that the media kind of perceived him, the way that the fans perceived him, just because it was a really tough go. And for him to rebound last year is great, but it does make me curious as to see what that extension might look like if it's another just 3 years. And again, that, as you said, Kirsten, that's going to heavily rely on Jesper's performance. That being said, let's switch gears to Jesper Wallstedt. Do you think, and this is just a talking point, so we've known that he's the Wall of St. Paul, first round pick, had a very tough season last year. Do you see, if he has a rebound year this year, could he be a top 5 goalie in the league? Because that's been the projection. That's been the excitement of him. Do you think that's a realistic possibility? Again, I know a lot of that will be based on what we see from him this year, but do you think it's within him?
I think it's within him if he is everything that everyone has said that he is the last 2 years. There's been so much hype, and maybe that played into last season too, because he knows his time is coming. The writing was on the wall with Marc-Andre Fleury retiring. He knew he was the next one up. So I don't know, maybe like trying to just get in the mind of an athlete that adds a lot of pressure onto you, and then you're thinking when you're taking the ice, like you need to be to a certain caliber. So when you're not, especially when you're a goaltender, I think that pressure is just double what it is for other skaters. I think, again, I think if he is everything everyone says he is, I think he can come back, but that adds pressure too, just knowing how bad your year was last year, and you need to come up to the NHL roster, no longer AHL, and prove yourself.
And
Have a
Cal
bounce back
Peterson-
year on the national stage.
And Cal Peterson looks to be the number 3 goalie. Obviously, he'll probably start in Iowa, but he has that veteran experience. I'm curious to see. And I'm also curious, I guess, back to the point on Philip Gustafson. I wonder if you wait on having those extension conversations with Gus until you see what you have in Jesper. Because that, for me, that provides a clarity on the term that I would want to give him too, as far as, well, Jesper's not quite there yet. I want to give you 5 years instead of 3 or whatever that may look like. So I do think it's going to be a very interesting year between the pipes for the Minnesota Wild in general. I still would like to see them go out and get another goalie. Cal Peterson didn't do it for me. I would like to have just another guy there as insurance, I think.
Yeah, it would be nice, but I don't know what even is the goalie market at this moment in time where things stand. Is there a better option? I don't think there is.
I'm sure you could find one. I'll suit up.
Well, you can always find one, but are you willing to overpay for one?
Well, I think at this point, it's probably you could get somebody for more affordability, right? Like, well, I don't know. Everybody always needs a good goalie. I just feel like your high free agency numbers have dissipated because if you weren't wanted in July, it's rare that you're going to be wanted right before camp, unless barring any injuries, right? Which still possible to happen. But I don't know. I just would feel more secure. This is why I'm harsh on goaltenders, because I don't know. I expect them to be really good. At least we have our e-bugs, right? Shout out to our favorite e-bug, Connor Beaupre. Always.
Yeah, we always have the e-bugs.
Respect. Also, last week, they announced the Team USA camp invitee list. No real surprises, Kirsten. They did leave off Lane Hudson, which was kind of interesting. And it's rumored that the reason he was left off the invitee list, which again, Lane, unlikely to have made the team, be very clear about that. But I think there's always the conversation that Team USA teams, you're picked on how much you've participated in Team USA activity. Like if you go to the NTDP, it probably betters your chances a little bit for a World Junior or U17 selection. If you go to World Championships, it probably betters your prospect to be named to the Olympic team. And the conversation around Lane Hudson not being invited is because he didn't attend World Championships. Do you believe that? Do you think that there's validity to any of that type of rumor mill conversation happening in the backgrounds?
Probably. I mean, I think there's always some weight to it. I don't know. I guess just overall surprises, no surprises.
Yeah.
So I guess Lane Hudson too, even if he wasn't expected to make the roster, being invited to camp, like at that point, I don't know. Doesn't affect me.
I suppose I just think of it like I think there's like a valuable learning experience to be had by attending an Olympic training camp, right, with those players. And I mean, not that he's not experiencing it night in and night out, but I can see where I don't want to say snub because it's not a snub because again, he's like Z Bulliam, also not invited, and he's not likely to have made the team. So part of it I can see it's out of protection of those players, maybe for their respective NHL squads, but also it just feels like there's an opportunity there for growth for young players.
1,000%, especially too when you're playing with a good chunk of the best players in the entire league in the world. Yeah, you definitely can take away and learn. But yeah, I don't know. Because yeah, that there does come that factor too of wanting to not get injured or risk anything for your club if you're not going to play.
Patrick Kane makes the team, right?
Absolutely. I don't know how he doesn't.
I know. I mean, there's, like you said, no real surprises there. I think Patrick Kane, obviously an addition from Four Nations. I don't believe he was hurt during Four Nations, so there was that. You've got a lot of Minnesota flavor, Jake Ottinger, Brock Faber, who else? Jackson Lacombe. Do you think Jackson Lacombe makes the team?
No.
I don't think so.
Too young.
Ryan McDonough makes the team. Do you think Neil Pionk makes the team?
No.
No, I don't think so. Brady Shea?
Yes.
Yes. Matt Boldy?
Yes, without a doubt. Like that's not no, there's no question. Without a doubt.
Jake Gensel? I'm just going through the Minnesotans now at this point.
I mean, how could you not have Jake Gensel on your roster?
Super excited. Our friend Connor Beaupre sent me the videos of me skating with Jake Gensel, and it's horrendous. And I'm mortified to share those publicly. So just to let you know, it worked out exactly how we all envisioned it to. Yeah, there's no other players on there. Jake Ottinger, probably my starting goal. Do you put Jake Ottinger at number 1, or do you put Connor Hellebuck at number 1?
I put Jake Ottinger in as long, or let me rephrase that. I put Hellebuck in as long as it's not like a gold medal game.
Right? Like maybe that's it. You just can't have him be playing.
I start
during-
Ottinger if it's a crucial winner go home game. Hellebuck
How ex-
respectfully crumbles under
How
pressure.
excited are you for the Olympics?
I'm very excited. I feel like Four Nations was a little bit of a taste of what that is going to be like in the Olympics. And I mean, even during like COVID time when players were denied being able to go on the Olympics, I believe that was the situation. Again, sorry guys, my mind is not working as it should on a Monday morning. But basically all I'm trying to say is NHL players have wanted to play in the Olympics again for a very, very long time. And so I think there's a lot of hype and a lot of excitement surrounding it. So I think it's going to be great.
And for the first time in a long time, that's not fair. Team USA has always kind of been, as of late, in the medal contention, but I think a gold medal is a very realistic possibility for this team, right? It's funny, we talked at the State Fair on Saturday with Bob Motzko and Phil Housley about World Juniors, which again are happening here in St. Paul coming up in December into January, the 2026 World Junior Tournament. It's going to be great. It's going to be exciting. We love it. But, they were discussing how it used to be there was a very low bar of expectations for Team USA at international competition. Canada always has that high pressure, right? They are expected to win gold every single time. And, at World Juniors and on the Olympic squad, it's no different. You look at the rosters and the names that are on both of those teams, it's crazy. But the USA is right there with them.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I favor USA not even to be biased more than Canada. Like if I believed in Canada
For the Olympics?
Yes, if I believed in Canada more, I would have no problem saying that. But no, I think USA definitely has the edge.
I think the goaltending's the strength, right? We talked about that at Four Nations too. Like I think that's your difference maker. See, this is why
1,000%. But also I think the Kachuk brothers, they're lunatics. Now, Matthew Kachuk, he's out till January at minimum. So, I mean,
that's not great.
Assuming he'll be healthy and back in time for the Olympics, I don't see how he wouldn't be. But stranger things have happened.
Did you see the graphic where it could be like an all-brother situation on the team? You could have Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes, Matthew Kachuk, Brady Kachuk, and you could feasibly make that like, and then, yeah, I think that's all of them. I just think that'd be kind of fun.
See, Canada doesn't have that.
Don't have that. Makes them less cool for sure. In other announcements too, the Minnesota Hockey Hall of Fame officially announced last week. Natalie Darwitz, CEO of that, Andrew Height, president, and then they've got tons and tons of ambassadors. Very, very exciting. It is crazy, Kirsten, that this isn't a thing. Like it's never existed before. Like, and for the record, I need to clarify this with everybody that seems to be very confused. Eveleth is home to the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, which, yes, has a ton of Minnesota flavor in it just because of the location, but also because that's how much Minnesota has contributed. This Hockey Hall of Fame, which has not established a firm location yet, but will be located in the Twin Cities, is not going to replace the Eveleth Hockey Hall of Fame. It has nothing to do with the Eveleth U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, rather. It is strictly for Minnesota players, or players that have made an impact in Minnesota, coaches that have impacted Minnesota, volunteers, media members, everything specifically related to Minnesota hockey. So that's been very confused, but it is kind of crazy that it hasn't existed until now or in a couple years when it's finally finished.
I mean, it feels like one of those things that no one did anything about it because they assumed it was already a thing.
Right. I think
so I guess I didn't realize it was like a pressing issue. We didn't have it because I didn't realize we didn't have one.
It'll be very interesting to see how it all unfolds. If you were to pick, though, this is going to be the hardest part. Sure, finding a location's hard. Sure, building it out, finding the money's probably a little challenging. But I think even more challenging than that is that first Hall of Fame class. Now, I don't know how many members, if you're looking at 7, let's go with 7 because it gives us a little bit more leeway. Who are your first class inductees? And again, this spans from coaches to players to just builders in general, right? Who would be on your first class induction?
I'm scared to answer because I'm gonna miss some very notable people, and everyone's gonna come for me.
Well, that's the thing. It's
First,
7 out of
I mean,
like hundreds.
first one, Herb Brooks. First one, without a doubt.
Okay. Yep.
Absolutely put him on there, without a
Sure.
doubt. First ballot. You got to go with like Neil Broughton or something too, don't you think?
Oh, probably. Yep. That's
Put
probably a
him
good
on
one.
there.
Yep.
How
Lou Nanny.
without a doubt. Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. See it like I
Right?
wasn't even thinking of him and then you say it out loud and you're like how like yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's hard because it's like he's not Minnesota born, but again, I think that's why it's important to figure out the parameters, and I think it's for people
Oh,
that
that's
make
so
an
true.
But he's also on the board, so there's like a little bit of like same with Darwitz too. Natalie Darwitz being the CEO. I don't know that she can be on that first ballot, but she's deserved of it, or deserving
Yeah,
of
because
it.
she was another one that I was like, put her on it, but then I was like, first ballot. Like she'll be in it, obviously, but
Right.
it's that first ballot. There's a lot of pressure with thinking who.
And same with
But
Winnie
yeah,
Brown.
and like, do you just do Minnesota born or like just people that have had an immense impact on Minnesota hockey?
I think it's that. I think that's where, because it's technically, we can get into semantics of it. TJ Oshie is not Minnesota, but TJ Oshie, not that he's on the first ballot, is a Minnesota Hockey Hall of Famer.
True. Like Matt Cullen will be in there too, but I don't know if you would do first ballot.
Sure.
I mean, hell,
I think
put Tom Reed in it. He's got the most legendary bar in Minnesota.
That's true. Maybe that's what we have to include. Like, how about we expand this beyond players and coaches, but like it's made an impact on us personally and on the Minnesota hockey scene is Tom Reed's bar.
It's made an immense impact, even just beyond household name,
just everywhere.
At Tom Reed's.
Sue Ring Jarvie. Maybe you do Sue Ring Jarvie. She did a lot for Minnesota hockey on the women's side of thing. I bet you're not familiar because I don't think she's ever just gotten the recognition that she deserves.
I'm
so Sue Ring Jarvie.
I'm not familiar.
I think that's fair because again, I don't know that she. So I believe she was like a ringette player. Let me give you guys a little background information. I was talking about her. I have done a story on her once. So Sue Ring Jarvie is Minnesota born, which is fantastic. And her hockey journey began at 22 playing pond hockey with her 47-year-old mother, which sparked a lifelong love of the sport. And she continues to lace them up. She founded the University of Minnesota Women's Hockey Club in 1974 and the Minnesota Blue Jays in 1980. She led them to multiple state and national championships. She helped build WHAM, which is the Women's Hockey Association of Minnesota. She organized 13 youth girls teams in the metro area and ran women's hockey clinics for 20 years, beginning in 1979. So she, for sure, I think, is on that first ballot.
Yeah. Yeah. See, like once you get into the nitty gritty of these details, you realize like, yeah, the impact just stems beyond so much further than people like just playing, like organizations created, founded.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what I love. So Jamie Langenbrenner from Cloquet, Minnesota, still my favorite Stanley Cup celebration by him taking it tubing on the lake up in on the Iron Range. Legendary. But just so legend. I for sure would lose it. I'd be so scared. But he, had mentioned him and Paul Martin as members of the advisory board. And, they said, Paulie and I have our accolades, right? They have their Stanley Cups. They've played on Olympic teams. They've won national champion. They've done all of this stuff already. And he's like, and I'm so proud of that. And I'm so grateful for that. But I don't want this Hall of Fame to be about us, about the NHL guys, the players that have already had those established careers. He's like, I want it to be about the volunteers at the concession stands and the coaches that have gotten us to where we are. And, I think that's the biggest thing. This isn't about how many years you've played in the NHL or how many years it's for officials too, right? Officials that have made an impact on hockey. And I think that's what's going to make it so special is it's not just about your pro teams and your pro status, right? And of course, those are the sexy names, the names that people recognize, but it's people like Sue Ring Jarvie who have created and founded pieces that maybe not everybody knows. And that's the other thing. There's going to be that fun educational component too. Like you're going to walk in and because it's probably going to be so expansive and so immersive that you'll probably leave learning something new every time you visit. And you're going to want to visit more than once, I imagine.
Another name, John Mayasich.
Oh, duh. Yeah.
Like
right.
literally. And now I'm mad. Like I'm upset I didn't think of that right away. Like, see, like now, like I'm thinking about it more than like there's big names where I'm like,
And
duh.
I think Frank Brimsek too, Mr. 0. Like I think. But see, and the weird thing is so this is where I can understand folks' confusion on the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, because those two in particular are so embedded and stamped in that U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame too, because of their roles in the sport of hockey, that's going to be your biggest challenge. Like I said, I think figuring out your first class, or figuring out even, it's going to take a while before you're like, oh, this is a struggle to think of who should be here. I don't know any officials, unfortunately, that I can nominate necessarily.
Neither do I.
Yeah,
I
I would
tell you
love
some
to.
officials not to nominate. none of the ones that
That's
I would
the
say
thing we
would
should
be
ask. Yeah,
nominated.
actually, Bob Motzko was talking about some poor officiating he had at one of the World Junior Championships that he still has not forgotten about, and he was like,
He's not a
just-
man to let those things go, which
No.
I wouldn't either.
No, he still keeps them up. I mean, I believe that was for gold too, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or for
You
some.
want to talk about a man that keeps receipts? I feel it's Bob
Okay.
Motzko, but I love that from him. Like,
You
I
know
feel
him
like
far more in depth. He's different
So
than
more
I thought. Like, it's having him and Phil Housley together was quite the experience, because Phil is just kind of your very sweet, like he comes and gives me a hug, and Bobo is just kind of like, hi. And like, it's a very differing personalities.
Bob is also great. Like, he's such a great
Yes.
guy, very friendly, but like we've talked about this, his game face, like he means business.
Yes, 100%.
So like I can see it doesn't come off as warm, even though like he is a really nice guy.
I
Just
mean,
when he's got that game face on, like he means business.
you know me, I take particular offense to anybody that doesn't meet my bubbliness with the same bubbliness back. And I'm like, why do you hate me?
I am well aware.
Yeah, it's a serious problem that I have.
You could say good morning and I could just respond morning and you'd be like, why are you mad at me?
Why are you mad at me? Like, what did I do? Yeah, 110%. It's a problem. We're working through it. Maybe by the age of 40, I'll have it figured out. But I just really wanted to try one of those. It's freeze-dried strawberry pieces. I don't know. They're okay.
Just have those sitting there.
I'm embarrassed to show you the entire candy display that I have in my office right now, but I will. This is not an advertisement. But there's one bag. There's two bags. There's three bags. Wait, I'm not done. There's 4 bags of candy.
I wish I had a sweet tooth. I do not.
It's a new thing. It's a new development for me, but I keep them in here to hopefully be able to keep and retain these and not have the children use them, because that's my biggest fear. Final question before we wrap up this week's episode, Kirsten. It's a big one. Will Kirill Kaprizov sign his extension this week?
No.
Really?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. When do you think? What's a date? Give me a date. We'll play like, how you can guess the baby's due date, or like when the baby will be born. Let's do that.
I think it'll be much later than anyone wants.
That's okay. Toss your date out.
I'd say if it happens, I could anticipate like when March.
What?
I don't know. I'm not convinced it's gonna happen. Quite honestly, like if it's gonna happen, it'll be right before the trade deadline. Like I'm not convinced it's gonna happen. I'm sorry.
That is a hot guess. What's getting clipped for this week? That right there.
Okay, but also, why has it not happened yet?
Well, he's not here.
So Marco Rossi's not here either.
So is your panic level high? Like, do you think he might?
Yes, I don't know if he's going to resign. Like, I don't have faith that he's going to be re-signed.
That is fascinating. I feel like you haven't expressed this to me.
I feel like I've mentioned it.
Yeah, but wow. Okay. So you think like March? You're looking at like.
I think it's either they come to terms on an agreement late, or they deal him at the deadline to get something out of him instead of letting him walk.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you're a dose of reality that I think none of us want, right? Like,
I know, but somebody has to be.
Just gonna put my rose-colored glasses back on. I feel like he gets. I think he signs this week. I think they do something with, because I told Bill Guerin that he would be signed by the State Fair time, and Bill's like, why State Fair time? I was like, I don't know, why not? Like, it's the end of summer, gives them a little bit of excitement. I'm thinking of the storylines, the marketing aspect.
So there's no logic behind it. It's just you think it would be fun.
I think it would be fun. Yeah. Well, no, there's again, I'm thinking from a marketing perspective for a team. Like they don't want to do it while he's in Russia because if you're going to sign a player of his caliber to the contract that we all think and anticipate him signing, if it's 8 years, 17.5 million, you're not going to hold a Zoom for media to celebrate that, right? Like you need him here in person. Like from that perspective, it couldn't have been done while he was in Russia because it's too big. To sign Marco Rossi to 3x15, that makes sense. To talk him to via Zoom, whatever, it's not a big deal. But you do not sign a superstar and not have a big field day of media in person, right? And again, I think you take him to the fair then, hey, look at our new piece. I love the fair.
I get that. Most people here do. Does Kirill like the fair? Like, I don't know.
See, more content to find out. Like, it's very
fair goer. No, he strikes me as a man that would love the milk stand.
Yes, 100%. Like, I think we're onto something here. I think that's why I feel like this week makes the most sense because I'm sure he's back in town, and I'm sure once he gets back in town. And aside from that, I think from Bill Guerin, the man that he is, it's a conversation and a signing that you want to get face to face too, right? Like, you don't want to just do that. I'm sure he would go overseas. I guess that's silly, but I mean, just do it here would be good.
This is fair. I think that's the answer everyone wants. I'm not convinced. I want it to happen. Don't get me wrong. Like, yes, I want it to happen, but maybe it's because I've been hurt before. I don't know. I've come to expect less. Clip that.
I mean,
I'll just start tagging people that have disappointed me.
Just so heavy for Monday morning. So
I'm not even trying to be. I promise. Like, I'm not even trying to be. It's just
all right. Well, that's gonna wrap it on that high note. We're gonna end this week's episode. Shout out to you guys as always for following us. We are going to kick off a official quote unquote new season after the Labor Day. We will not have a new episode next week, but then we will be rocking and rolling into our weekly episodes from here on out. All that good stuff. Shout out to just you guys. You're the best.
I thought you were about to say shout out to you. And I was like, you know what? Shout out to me.
Shout out to... we'll see how many people are shouting you out. They'll be shouting your name with a bunch of curse words after they listen to this
didn't say I didn't want it to happen. I just said I'm not convinced it's going to happen.
It's crazy.
It would be one thing. People could be mad at me if I said I don't want it to happen. That's different.
Sure. That would be insane asylum. Like,
yeah. So no one can come for me just because I said I don't feel like it's going to happen. Like, you can't be mad at me for having an opinion.
It's an opinion. That's a reminder. Your opinions are all valid. Just some are better than others.
That's very true. I would rather have a much happier mindset. Trust me.
All right. Have a great rest of your week. Have a good Labor Day weekend. Check out the fair. As always, we'll catch you in 2 weeks for the new season.
Royal Credit Union is your trusted advisor for all your business banking needs. Whether you're starting or growing a business, Royal offers a full suite of business account and lending solutions to meet the needs of your business now and into the future. Royal has business checking and savings accounts, business certificates and money markets, treasury management services, and business loans. Choose Royal Credit Union as your business's financial partner and get started today at rcu.org/royalbusiness. Insured by NCUA. Loans subject to credit approval. Equal credit opportunity.